Thank you for joining me here this morning. The time is currently 11:30 a.m. Central, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and you have a live look at a severe thunderstorm currently rolling near Marquette, Michigan. This is a severe thunderstorm warning in the UP of Michigan here, right? We have an ongoing severe weather outbreak across portions of the Midwest. This storm system here has had a history of producing damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour and widespread wind damage all the way from Wisconsin back into Iowa. So we have to watch these storms very closely here, as again, they can be pretty damaging as they continue to roll through portions of northern Wisconsin and the Michigan UP. Later today, we're going to be talking about another severe weather outbreak that's going to affect portions of the Great Plains and potentially all the way back up into the upper Midwest again. If we go ahead and take a look at what the HRRR model is showing here for today, we can see that as we go later into this afternoon and this evening, we see more of these pop-up shower and thunderstorms here in portions of Nebraska that could become tornadic pretty quickly, as we have a pretty favorable environment out here today for potential tornadoes. Now, we're also going to see some of these out here in South Dakota and North Dakota around the midnight hour, but at this point, it'll mainly be a damaging wind threat unless any of these cells do manage to become discrete. And then by 4 a.m., we are still dealing with severe thunderstorms across portions of the Dakotas and up into Minnesota. So it's going to be a long day of severe weather coverage here, folks, and I'm glad to have y'all here. I'm happy to be back here live once again covering it. We do have ourselves a pretty significant tornado risk for today, alright? It has been upgraded here to the 5% risk, so this is for areas in and around North Platte and McCook, alright? This is a 5% chance to see a tornado within 25 miles of any given point, so that's for parts of Colorado, Nebraska, and just a sliver there of northwestern Kansas. So we've got to watch out very closely today for some of these strong to severe storms that again potentially may produce some tornadoes out here today. The damaging wind threat and large hail threat are no jokes either. In fact, we have a hatched risk for large hail today. A 15% hatched risk has been put in place here for portions of, once again, Colorado, Nebraska, and just a sliver of northwestern Kansas there, alright? So again, we got ourselves a pretty significant severe weather outbreak probably about to unfold here. Again, this outbreak will be later this evening. We'll be live here again covering this, right? But right now, we are currently talking about an event going on into the UP of Michigan, as some of these strong to severe storms are continuing to sweep on through. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of Wisconsin and the Michigan UP right now, so we have to watch out for some more severe thunderstorm potential, right? Again, the highest gust recorded out of this was about 73 miles per hour out of southwest Minnesota. So again, we are talking about the potential for 70 to 75 mile per hour winds and widespread wind damage here. All those little pictures of the houses, those are wind damage reports, okay? So obviously very damaging storms here. And again, they're going to continue to be damaging as they sweep through here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up stream chat. If anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below, because it is going to be a pretty big day today. So let me go and get that pulled up there. Alrighty. So again, if you're just not tuning in here, hello Gooseman. We are covering an ongoing severe weather outbreak across the Michigan Upper Peninsula, as we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Ishpeming, areas to the west and southwest of Marquette there. This is for portions of central Marquette County. 60 mile per hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail may be associated with this storm. So if you're in this area, make sure that you're getting indoors immediately, as these are some very dangerous storms here heading for the Dead River Storage Basin area. So we'll have to look out for that there. And again, really this entire storm system is at the very least going to bring the threat for heavy rainfall and lightning to portions of northeast Wisconsin and the Michigan UP. Is western Ohio good today? So we do actually have a marginal risk in place out here for parts of the Ohio Valley, but western Ohio in general should be fine. If we go ahead and take a look at actually right now it looks like here on the radar you do have some pop-up shower and thunderstorms out here in western Ohio, but if we go ahead and take a look at the HRRR here, we can see that we're not expecting too much for this region, alright? Maybe some showers and storms roll through southwestern Ohio around 4 p.m. Maybe an isolated one gets strong to severe. We'll have to watch out for that. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be anything too crazy, but maybe, again, that potential for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms there. So we'll watch that. But again, right now our main focus is out here in Michigan. But yeah, Ohio definitely could see something today. It'll all just depend on how this event plays out and if the model guidance is leading us in the right direction. So again, if you're just not sitting in, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Marquette County, Michigan. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and hail up to penny size. If we look at the vertically integrated liquid signatures, we're not seeing too much, but again, maybe some isolated half-inch to penny-sized hail in there, I would say. And then if we look at the velocities, we do actually see a good swath of damaging winds there off to the west of Ishpeming right now, heading into Ishpeming as we speak. So we'll have to watch out for that. But again, I mean, everywhere else right now is, I mean, relatively fine. We do actually have ourselves a special weather statement down on the Arkansas-Tennessee state line for this storm near Osceola. It is pretty strong here, producing some 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail. So you know what? We'll actually go ahead and bring up some cyclone ports from out here. As we do have quite a few out here, so we'll get some good looks at this storm, I'm sure. That's from Lauderdale County. And this is from Millington. Look at that. See big clouds on top of the camera, but the actual storm is way in the back there, over the tree line. Beautiful view. So I assume that's looking off to the north there. Alrighty. They need to make a feature where you can see what way the cyclone ports are looking. So we do actually have a brand new special weather statement here in Ohio for Wooster, Smithville, and Rittman. This is for a strong thunderstorm capable of producing hail up to 50 miles per hour, or hail up to 50 miles per hour, damaging winds up to 50 miles per hour, and also some penny-sized hail. Could there be a strong tornado in Nebraska today? So, I know a lot of weather YouTubers have been putting that potential out there, and for anybody wondering on my thoughts, I do not think that we're going to see a strong tornado today, but if we get any discrete supercells out here, like one of these that even the HRRR is painting, this could be absolute mayhem today. We have a 26 on the significant tornado parameter, which is a scale that caps out at 10, and we are getting up to 26, which is the most ridiculous you will ever see on a slight risk day. But the thing is, again, if we don't get any convection out here, it doesn't matter if the STP is 100. If we don't get any storms, they're not going to produce tornadoes. So it's all going to depend on if we get any shower and thunderstorm activity out here. We'll have to watch every single one of these pop-up cells. Even these don't look to be discrete enough to produce tornadoes, though, so we'll have to see, alright? There's a potential for it. Again, it can't be ruled out, but I don't think we're going to see one today. But yeah, that's a really good question. But yeah, I mean, if you're saying could there be potentially, I'd say yeah, for sure. Alrighty. And we have a new special weather statement here for our line of storms in Michigan. 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts and pea-sized hail are possible with this. Apparently, an ASOS station recorded 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts out of this line, probably in the Iron Mountain area. So, again, if you're in Spalding or Harris, make sure that you're getting indoors there, as these gusty winds could blow around some unsecured objects that could lead to some flying items out there, if you will. I was going to say flying debris, but it's not really debris. Would not be surprised to see a special weather statement with this line of storms out here in South Dakota. But again, I mean, if it does get issued, it'll be for some gusty winds and small hail. Approaching Parkston here and areas along Highway 18 near Delmont. So again, our only severe thunderstorm warning right now is up here in Michigan for the Ishpeming area west of Marquette. Again, this is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Recently, we've been talking more and more about this area, which is interesting. It is just kind of that, you know, late spring, early summertime pattern that we're in, where we do get severe storms and tornadoes in the high plains, the upper Midwest, and parts of Canada even. It's kind of tornado season for them up there. So again, this severe thunderstorm here is moving off to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. It's going to be approaching Marquette, so we'll have to look out for that. Alrighty, so again, if you're just now joining us, we're watching an ongoing severe weather event here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for central Marquette County. This severe thunderstorm is going to be capable of producing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. So if you're in that area, make sure that you are moving indoors. Again, we are expecting a more widespread severe weather outbreak today across portions of the Central Plains. Areas like Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas may have a decent tornado risk here if we do get any discrete supercells to develop, so we'll have to watch out for that in the North Platte area. But yeah. We do technically have a tornado risk all the way up here into Michigan today, but it's not for this area of storms. It's for our area that's going to be impacting this region, like, late tonight, like, borderline tomorrow morning. It's going to be 6 a.m. that we have a tornado threat up in the Michigan UP, if we have one at all. For some reason, I cannot open up the Storm Prediction Center Outlook. I can click on everything else, but not that. What the heck? Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna reset my radar Omega. That's cool, I guess. There we go. I don't know why that wasn't working. I've never had that issue. Alright. You think that 5% tornado risk will be expanded? Well, again, it's a situation where if we do get any discrete cells to develop out here, there's a very good chance that we will see tornadoes. So, I mean, if something really major happens and we start seeing discrete cells out here in South Dakota, northwest Nebraska out here, I do think the 5% risk will get expanded out here at the new SPC update, but again, that's only if we see those discrete cells pop off. But if they do pop off, I would not even rule out them issuing a 10% hatch risk for tornadoes, because that is going to be a very significant event if we do end up getting some discrete cells out there. With an STP of 26, I mean, that is almost as favorable as an environment as you get for potential tornadoes, and our severe thunderstorm warning now for central Marquette County has been allowed to expire. Let's go over here to our Ohio storm. I know we have some Ohio viewers in here. What's up, everybody? So again, here's our Ohio storms near Smithville. Continue to watch these. And then we've also got to watch our storm there in the Arkansas-Tennessee state line. I mean, we're just looking all over the country today, huh? And then again, we still do have a special weather statement for our line of storms here in Michigan, on the southern edge of it here for the Harris-Spalding area. So if you're in this area, again, make sure you are getting indoors. If the wind threat gets upgraded at all with that, this will be a severe thunderstorm. But yeah, like the event later tonight is going to be like a huge tornado event, or it's going to be absolutely nothing at all, which is why the SPC has kind of gone ahead, went in the middle here, played it safe with the 5%, a little bit low. I definitely don't think they'd be out of line to at least put the 2% risk up here further into South Dakota. But we'll see. Obviously, it's the SPC's call, but even at the new outlook, they didn't do that. So we'll see if they do that at the 3 p.m. outlook. I definitely think there's at least a potential tornado threat for portions of southwestern South Dakota today. But again, it's only if we get those storms to fire, and there's a lot of model disagreements of if that's going to happen or not. So we'll see. This is another conditional tornado risk for sure. I mean, again, like, the tornado threat down in Nebraska is a little less conditional. I'd say it's a higher floor, but a lower ceiling. I think we're probably going to see a tornado somewhere in this area today, but we're not going to see a ton of tornadoes down here today. But for this area, I think that we're probably not going to see anything at all up there. But I'd give it maybe a 1% chance that we do see something crazy up here. So we'll see. We'll have to watch some of these storms up here in northeastern Illinois as they push kind of to the south of the Chicago suburbs here. Eventually heading into Indiana. Some of these look to be pretty intense there around the Watseka area. Alright. So again, continuing to watch our line in Michigan here, also continuing to watch those storms in Ohio, as well as our storms along the Arkansas-Tennessee state line there around the mid-Mississippi Valley, and the lower Mississippi Valley as well. We got a decent cluster of storms out here. We even have a flash flood warning in here out of east central Arkansas from this, near Rowe, or 4 Rowe rather. Well, yeah, I mean, the last conditional tornado risk, though, it was a little, I'd say it was even less conditional than today's. So again, here are storms out here in the eastern portion of the Michigan UP, as well as extreme northeastern Wisconsin there. Interestingly enough, they actually pushed the slight risk all the way into Montana for today. Up through Miles City there along Interstate 94, which I think was an interesting move. Let's see, what is the HRRR thing about Montana? I haven't even thought to check today. Yeah, I mean, I guess it does kind of make sense. I don't know if I'd push it to a slight risk, but there's definitely going to be some strong to severe storm activity there today. That's a real possibility, I guess, so. And earlier I was saying it would be 5, 6 a.m. for the tornado threat here in the upper Midwest. It's not going to be as late as I thought. It's going to be more of like a... Actually, it's going to be way earlier than I thought. It's going to be like 8, 9, 10 p.m. at the latest. Anything for West Michigan? No. Nope. I mean, look at this supercell, though. It's painting in the UP. I mean, that is a deadly supercell in terms of its hail threat. 76 DBZs. Crazy stuff. But yeah, nope, nothing for West Michigan, really, other than maybe a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm in... I mean, really, that's close to Central Michigan, but in between Grand Rapids, and Lansing, maybe an isolated storm, but that's it. That's what the RRR is saying anyway. I'm starting more and more to use the RRR for these more kind of short, near casting events, I guess is what you could call them. Because the NAM, it goes out further, but it's not quite as high res. By the way, new special weather statement for Marquette, 40 mile per hour winds and pea-sized hail here with the northern portion of our line of storms here in Michigan now. Again, the UP of Michigan. So continue to watch that there. But yeah, I mean, keep the questions coming because we don't really have any ongoing severe weather. So now, if anybody has any questions, now would be the time to ask them. We're going to be live here again tomorrow, because tomorrow we do actually have ourselves a little tornado risk for portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. This may get bumped up to a 5%. It'll depend, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. And for the first time in a while, we don't have anything on the day 3 outlook for Wednesday here. Now, we may get some sort of upgrade at some point, probably at least a marginal risk, but we'll see. Anything for South Carolina? I mean, not really that I can think of in the near future. I'd say South Carolina is going to get off pretty scot-free this week of severe weather, but I'll tell you what, you're going to have to look out late this week into this weekend for that potential tropical system. So we'll see. Well, I mean, the line of storms up here in the Michigan UP is, I mean, it's going to maybe impact far northern portions of Michigan, but it's really not going to get into Michigan too much. It's mainly heading up into Canada, really. It's all moving northeast, so I don't think that's really going to impact Michigan anyway, except for maybe the far northern tip of Michigan gets something with the eastern UP there. Yeah, I mean, some of these northeast Illinois, northwest Indiana thunderstorms could, again, pack some heavy rain. Kind of in this little general area here. Areas mainly to the south of Chicago. So we'll watch those. A little bit of a bad radar zone here to see this big one out here near Watsika. But, I mean, there's definitely a hail threat associated with that, at the very least. So we'll watch that. Let's see, what's the vertically integrated liquid signature look like? It's definitely there, north of Milford. Again, in between Milford and Watsika there. Quite a bit of hail probably falling along Highway 1. Out there in northeastern Illinois. And, I mean, all these little rain showers that you see out here are going to have the potential to do something similar to these big-time storms up here as they continue to head northeastward. So, I'd be watching out here along the Illinois-Indiana state line. Any storm chasers in the 5% chance right now? There may be, but they are not turned on Radar Omega yet, because they usually don't turn on until a few hours before the event starts, and they don't show their stream until the event's actually started, so we don't know yet. I'm sure you could look at their X account or something, though, to say something about it. I'm sure we're going to have some chasers out there. I know Brandon Kopic's on a break, but Vince Welty and Corey Gherkin and Nathan Moore and all them will probably be out there today. So, again, here's a little storm here in Ohio, and it's kind of another situation where all these showers and thunderstorms out here in Ohio, we're going to have to watch as some could become strong. This one north of Lebanon here, northwest of Lebanon. This point probably due north of Lebanon. Let's take a look at this camera here, this cyclone port. See if we can see any lightning strikes. I think this is facing the wrong way, though. Yeah, I don't think that's facing the correct direction. What about Northeast Ohio? So Northeast Ohio may actually see some activity. Right now, there's, again, that strong thunderstorm in Northeast Ohio. But if you do see anything, it'll be a brief gust of wind, some small hail, heavy rain, some lightning, but nothing insane like tornadoes or anything like that. Maybe an isolated severe storm pops up in Northeast Ohio. Be watching all this activity out here as well down in the deep south. I talked about them potentially adding a marginal risk out here, but they did not end up doing that. But definitely some heavy thunderstorms out here around New Orleans right now. Sweeping in from the Gulf. Maybe some isolated gusty winds and small hail associated with a few of those. Actually, quite a few of them, potentially. They're kind of widespread down here. $92 there. I mean, it's just ridiculously hot. I know we'll go ahead and quickly, before we end the stream here, we'll turn on our excessive heat alerts. Look at this. Heat advisories, excessive heat warnings, all going up here for parts of the Midwest. Our excessive heat warnings, though, are isolated down to parts of Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. As this extremely warm air mass continues to roll through, bringing an early summer to quite a few million of Americans here along the Ohio River Valley. So, if you're not a fan of the heat, unfortunately, it's gonna be a rough couple of weeks for you guys out here. The heat is brutal, it is. And I mean, down in the deep south, it's already hot normally this time of year. So, I mean, it's hot anyway, but it's not like above average like it is up here. So, you guys are used to it, but all these folks up here in the Ohio Valley aren't quite as adjusted to that heat. So, anyway, we're going to end off the live stream here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will be back live later with more severe weather coverage. But again, we don't have any severe warnings right now, so there's really no reason for me to be here. I think we've done a good job of answering a lot of people's questions about today's and tomorrow's events. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Go check out my brand new episode of Tropic Talks that just posted a few minutes ago. And I